Friday, January 17th, weekly wrap-up. Starting to truly wrap up, pun intended, I guess, wrap up the advanced voice course. It's not done yet, and you're going to see some more clips, but we're heading down that road of wrapping it up, and I'm pulling everything together, and the way I'm pulling everything together is to now show you, and it starts off seeming, really basic and simple. It's, oh, what am I doing? I'm just doing a descending scale. No, you are learning how to do R&B and blues licks and improv with your voice in a muscular way that will keep your muscles all connected. When I say muscles, I mean that you're going from your mix down into your chest on these first exercises. And we're getting involved in the major, Mixolydian, Dorian minor, major pentatonic, minor pentatonic or blues scale, whatever you want to call that one, natural minor, harmonic minor, and melodic minor. Again, if you are full access on the website and you've truly been vocalizing to the exercises in the advanced voice course, what I just did this last week should seem very simple to you because you've already worked on the scale patterns. But now I'm pulling it together in a very cohesive way. I'm very happy about that and showing you what it is that I've done for years. I have always been interested in, from day one that I started singing, I was always looking for and very interested in understanding any information about how to sing like R&B singers. In the beginning, when I used to listen to Stevie Wonder and singers like that, I listened to a lot of Motown artists when I was growing up. And I was always blown away by all of these great embellishments they could do wherever whole tones would have been held. And I used to run off always looking for people to help me do that, and of course listen to records and emulated them and practiced the scale patterns or the embellishments that they were singing. This pulls it together, and I will show you as we get a little bit farther up the road here with it on the advanced voice course exactly how to do licks. Not only that, I've got some surprises with other singers doing their licks and then showing you how it relates to the course. So be looking for that. Now on this week's musical tip of the week, I want to talk about diphthongs. Does everybody or anybody know what a diphthong is? It's always interesting to me whenever I ask a student in my studio, do you know what a diphthong is? Most of the time I get, I think I heard it in English class somewhere, I don't remember what it is. And every once in a while somebody actually nails it. I like to call a diphthong, kiddingly, a married vowel trying to pass itself off as single, meaning that you have a single syllable word, or so it appears, but it really turns out that you need to sing two different sounds or two vowels tied onto each other. For example, the word day. If you were just to say that, the word day is a single syllable word, but you really have an A and an E in it. Day. And can you split the diphthong? Day. Depending upon the genre and the style of music you're working with, that is a okay thing to do or a no-no. Basic classical rules say sustain on the first vowel and end on the second. So it would be more like day and just almost pronounce E and you're there. But in country, sometimes it's day. You'll get that. And believe it or not, and he's thought of as one of the world's greatest singers ever, Sinatra sometimes liked to sustain a little bit on the second vowel sound. He would get very quiet. Night and day, you are the one. He would take that and sort of take the A, sustain into the E, and sometimes even just close down off of the second vowel and sustain it for a while. Very stylistic. So what I'm saying to you is that it isn't just crystal clear that a diphthong is, sustain on the first vowel and end it on the second. That's a general rule, and you can do that at times. But sometimes you want to listen to stylistically what the singer's doing, especially if you're trying to sing it the way they were singing it, just to learn it from an artistic point of view. And understanding that diphthongs even exist will help you listen for that. Now, the word song, S-O-N-G. I always like to say to my students, the word song is spelled S-O-N-G everywhere, but not in my studio. In my studio, it's spelled S-A-H, sustain on the ah and end on the O-N-G. But if you were singing a word like song, song, you don't want to go to that unless stylistically you make that decision, but more often than not you'll sing song and just end that. What you don't want to do or have happen is to try to be singing as the tongue is moving up. I call that singing on the move, or that, and when that's happening, the muscles are moving in the wrong way. So example, if I go song, song, I'm trying to sustain that note while my tongue is moving. That will activate swallowing muscles. That will get things to sound wrong. It usually pulls you out of tune, or at best, and that's not so good, it just takes away from the quality of the sound of your voice, because you have restricting muscles. In a way, you're creating isometrics and pitting muscle against muscle because that's moving. That is something that a less experienced singer does a lot of, and that's why they don't sound pro, or they don't sound like they're very good singers, because they're pronouncing things and trying to sustain things simultaneously, and while that's happening, it pulls away from the beauty of the voice. I've talked a lot about vibrato. That is another reason that sometimes you can have problems with vibrato, is that you don't keep things kept in the same place muscularly while you're doing a sustain. If you don't do that, the restriction of the muscles moving again can pull away from your ability to produce vibrato. And again, the ability to produce vibrato is all about balance-free resonance without tension in the throat and tension in the tongue, the stem of the tongue. And of course, when you're doing pronunciations, the tongue is totally involved all the time in the pronunciation. So, a little bit about diphthongs and a little bit about the technique there. Now, that's just a little quick tip. There certainly is much more to learn in relationship to diphthongs and something else called triphthongs, or to understand how if you put a consonant a certain way in front of a diphthong that you get a different response. And what the diphthongs are, if you're singing ah, ooh, like cow, cow, right? I'm kind of on an ah in the beginning and ending with an ooh at the end to pronounce cow. I don't know exactly what song you might be singing that had the word cow in it, some kind of country tune, no doubt, or prairie tune like Sons of the Pioneers, that kind of stuff. But I don't know. Your songwriters out there, if you happen to have the word cow or anything like that that goes from an ah to an ooh, again, you have to understand how you would perform that to keep the voice open and keeping it pretty. So again, if you are a full member and you have full access to the site, head on over to the Advanced Voice course and check out this week's lesson, and be on the look for the next few lessons that come up on the Advanced Voice course, because it's pulling the whole thing together now to show you a very cohesive way that you can use it as an improvisationalist and as a singer who knows so much more about melody line and where it goes and how things fit. Now also, there's the harmony course, and I've been doing this and sort of waiting and correlating everything together. If you're studying the harmony course and you have full access to the site again, well then what's happening here in the harmony course is now you're starting to really build and get your roots, thirds, and fifths on major and minor chords. It's got to be pretty obvious to you if you're doing the study of both, like working on the scale patterns, so forth in the Advanced Voice course, and also breaking all of this stuff down into the harmonies in the harmony course, how those two things fit together. Now, if you don't know how they fit together, don't worry, I'm going to pull it all together later. But again, work on the harmony course, work on getting the scale patterns and the exercises if you've worked your way through beginning, intermediate, and advanced in the Advanced Voice course, and that is starting to make a very cohesive, pulled together concept of how to be a great vocalist, both as a lead vocalist, what you're doing with melody lines, what you can do with licks and embellishments, and also how to sing harmony and make it all work, or even create harmonized licks and embellishments, which is part of the trick to all of this. So, totallyvocals.com. If you're not a member, come on over. There's a bunch of free stuff, 10 free lessons, and you've just heard a little bit about the courses. There's a jazz scat singing course. There's a course on vibrato. They have tons of song breakdowns, and there'll be soon more songs are going to be showing up with other artists coming up. I'm looking forward to bringing that to you as well. So lots of exciting things here in 2014. So totallyvocals.com.